So what's their message? I mean, I've heard so many different things about dolphins being on the planet. Once I don't even want to say this, but once I heard when I lived in Lake Tahoe and I was really into dolphins and whales and save the whales and save the dolphins. I remember hearing that dolphins had just gotten a little bit fed up. We weren't getting it. We just weren't getting their message and what they were trying to do for us and the benefit of having them on the planet, and they were ready to just leave. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of freaked me out a little bit, but we still have dolphins around, so I'm assuming that some
Yeah.
of them have stuck around.
Well, they're here for now, and there are people that are getting that message, and I feel like I can't go there either because I do get too emotional.
It's so sad.
Just like anyone that you love dearly, if they say I can't deal with this and I'm leaving, it's the same feeling to me because they feel like family. So their message is for us to first loving ourselves, unconditional love, which sounds so simple, but that's key. And of course, loving and respecting. And whatever we do, whether it's on a large scale or just in our life, it doesn't matter what we do, just the vibration of love and compassion and caring for ourselves, each other, and the planet is the most that we can do. And if we want to connect and actually send them love in our meditations or prayers or whenever we think of them, just loving them is they do feel that, just like I feel like we feel whatever other energies are out there.
Just like we feel them, they feel
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what really excites you about dolphins, and what's so magical about them that we all seem to really embrace them?
Well, the beauty when for instance, when I swim with them, uh, a lot of times it's beyond words, other than joy. And the first time I got in the water and I could hear them under the water in Hawaii, when I lived in Hawaii. I could, and I've been talking about them for decades at that point, and here they are. They're the spinner dolphins, and I could hear their sounds, and I had an experience of them like being connected on like a grid, and they were a little ways out, and I had never swam in the deep ocean. It was 200 feet deep and kind of dark in this bay, Kealakekua Bay, but I could feel them pull, so I put my head down and I just flipped my flippers, and I felt them pulling me toward them with this amazing frequency of joy and love and bliss and exhilaration and a vortex. What they spin like sometimes like 8 times or more. When they spin like that, and when I watch films, it's not like being in person. I've got to say, it's you can't help but laugh and just be gleeful is one way. And they do this constantly. And then when they would come up to, and so I go out and they bring their family, their little ones toward me. And I had a feeling of seeing them. It was like they were swimming, but it was like an angelic presence coming toward me that it was so otherworldly, and I felt so blessed. It was no different than if I saw a huge band of golden angels coming toward me. Same feeling. I felt so honored and overwhelmed in a good way. Yeah, they get it, and they are just here presenting. Well, this is how we can be too.
I just think what makes them magical for me is just how playful they are. Like when you see them in the water, and they were talking on this documentary. This guy wanted to teach them a couple of new tricks, and so he just gave them a little signal, and it looked like he just whispered into their ear, "Hey, do a couple of new tricks for me." And they went like a few feet away from him and had this little battering back and forth, and had this little chat, and kind of swam away, and at the same time they came up and did like a whole new trick exactly at the same time. It was amazing. I thought, I mean, you hear about how smart they are and about they use all their brains, but it's amazing to see and how interactive they are with humans. And
they're totally telepathic, and there's so many experiences I've read in books and met people directly where we can think of them doing something or wishing, like when I was with, and then they'll do the trick that before the trainer even does their thing to signal, they'll do the trick and they'll add something on because they get bored in those places too. So and then out in the open ocean, a guy that I know, Jim Nolman, had this underwater violin thing that he made that years ago, before people really swam with orca whales. He would play something and they would sing back, and you can get tapes of it. Sing back exactly what he played, and then they'd add on their own thing at the end. you know, continually. They yeah, a lot there. I've heard some accounts that some people say orca whales are one of the most intelligent.
You know, I could probably go on, on and on about all these wonderful dolphin stories that we all have. And I even have, I have a dolphin, a big giant dolphin tattooed on my arm because I was hanging out in a kayak with a friend of mine in San Diego one day years ago, years and years and years ago. And she was really wanting to get a tattoo that day. And she's like, come with me, come with me. And I said, well, so I said, okay, fine. If we see dolphins today, then I'll get dolphins tattooed on my arm. And I swear to God, Janice, before I finished the sentence, I could hear this splash, and these two giant dolphins came right out of the water on both sides of the kayak and swam with us for quite a while. Them and they brought their, what is it called? Like a tribe? What do they call it? Like a pod? Yeah, a pod.
Some people
thousands. It looked like and felt like thousands of them. They were huge. I think that's one thing that's always surprising to me when I'm with them in real life is, you know, Flipper just looked so little and so cute. And in real life, they seem so much bigger when you're in the water with them and hanging out. They just seem so much larger. So that's my fun story. I want to hear your fun story. A couple of good stories, turning points in your life around dolphins.
Okay. Well, when I was I got to go to Ireland a couple years ago, and I was in a place called Dingle, because in these films I've been showing, there's this dolphin named Fungi, which translates to that he's the color of a mushroom and that. So anyway, he is a free dolphin that has decided to hang out with people, and he's huge. He's the biggest bottlenose dolphin I've ever been with, but he stays in this bay at Dingle, and I went out on a tugboat with a fish. He used to be a fisherman, and now he full-time takes people to be with this dolphin. And you can, if you want to be in the really cold water, even with a wetsuit, I couldn't get myself to do it, but you can be with him in the water. And there's tons of amazing stories of him and films of him with people. And so they take children with special needs out to be with him for free. And when I was with him, I was hearing well, first of all, he was right next to us. He was playing with a salmon. And then I was so close, and I was sending love to him. And I've never had this happen before, but I saw this golden light coming from his eye and just hitting me in my heart. And it was extraordinary because I've been with other dolphins. And so he's quite a healer in a dolphin body. And he's been there for many, many years. He's still there doing his thing. And sometimes he'll go play with other free dolphins. But he chooses, obviously, to be there. He's a ambassador of healing. Yeah. Oh, there's one other story I wanted to share.
Sure.
If I could. When I was in Hawaii and lived near Kealakekua Bay on the Big Island, I was going through a lot of emotional upheaval and having a difficult time. And I was in the water swimming with dolphins. And it felt like it sounded like they were right next to my ears. And they were making these sounds I'd never heard before. I have heard a lot of different tapes and things. And so when I looked, they weren't there. They were like directly underneath me, making these sounds. And it shifted. I asked people later what that was about. They said, well, they were shifting me out of that spiral that I was going in the wrong direction. And they did shift me in that way. I was very grateful. And
it's amazing how healing, I mean, I know I used to blow my mind how people's lives and physical experiences would change by being around the horses. And I know that horses know or experience human emotions in such a deep level that's such a great connection, and I can only make up that with dolphins it would be the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So what's a good way if people have questions or people want to get in touch with you and ask you about dolphins or about your films or about what they can do to go play with dolphins, what's a good way to reach you?
I have an email that's jdolphin@whidbey.com.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and put that right across the screen so you can see the spelling for that.
Oh, and I'm available to give talks and show films still. And I have fabric art that I make. And I have a lot of resources of books, if you're interested in books that other people have written and films, and places to go to be with dolphins as well.
So if you want information about dolphins, here's the dolphin lady right here in Albuquerque. And again, I'm going to put her email across the screen. So if you have any questions and you'd like to reach her, just email her. And Janice, I'm sure you'd be glad to Sounds like you love
Yes.
talking about dolphins.
I
and
do.
just, yeah, excellent. So I'm just going to give a little review of what I make up seems to be important, because it's come up in the last 3 or 4 shows that I've done, whether it's about the Mayan calendar, whether it's about the sacred and divine feminine, or it's about dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of things that we can do to make all of these transitions, to heal ourselves, to feel better, to reach our goals, to just surrender and experience what's happening in the energy on the planet in a really gentle way. So here it is. It's coming from the dolphins, from the Mayans. It's coming from all over the place. Love yourself. How cool is that? I mean, we've been studying that and hearing about it in the churches and the temples all our lives. So let's do it. Let's love ourselves. And that's going to make it a whole lot easier for us to love each other. And when we love ourselves and love each other, the next step is love the planet, embrace the planet. She's here to serve us. So embrace the planet and all the living creatures on it. And I think we're all going to be having a really good time.
That's right. Yay.
So thanks so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us and being on the show again, the Dolphin Lady. And I'll put her email one more time across the screen. If you want to reach me or have any questions for me, you can reach me at Mitch Friedman, the number 1, mitchfriedman1@gmail.com. If you'd like to check out my website, you can go to www.mitchfriedman1.com. So thanks again for joining us, and thank you, Janice.
Thank you.
You all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week. Blessings.
Blessings.